Today is Sunday, February 16, 2020. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to LCJ Live. Can you believe it? Award season is over. Wow. It's National Do a Grouch a Favor Day, so I got my friend Grumpy here. Coming up, we'll talk box office. We'll talk post-Oscars results. Got some surprises in store for you. Happy Valentine's Day weekend. Happy President's Day weekend. Happy post-award season weekend here on LCJ Live. As always, send in your questions, your comments. Did you see Sonic the Hedgehog? I did. Oh boy, $68 million over the 4-day President's Day weekend. That is what they are currently estimating, the folks over at Paramount, for Sonic the Hedgehog. That is a ton of money. A much-needed win for Paramount, who didn't have a $100 million movie in 2019. Rocket Man came close at $96 million, but Sonic the Hedgehog is their first legitimate hit movie since Bumblebee at the end of 2018. That is crazy. But that's where we are. Not a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, not just because they spelled Freddie Mercury's name wrong in the end credits, and I will keep stressing that, but because this movie just isn't unique, fun, exciting, energetic. It's surprising. A movie like Sonic the Hedgehog isn't energetic because you got bland characters and you got Jim Carrey doing his slapstick shtick. It's really embarrassing. May have worked in the 90s, doesn't work now. James Marsden's character, one note, very little substance to him whatsoever. The Sonic character is actually decent. He's the only character I really like in a movie called Sonic the Hedgehog. Not just the way he looks, but his personality and the fact that he's sarcastic without stepping over the line, and that's really, really hard to do. So, I guess if you're a fan of Sonic, you'll like the Sonic character, but you may not like anything else when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. $68 million. Wow. Also this weekend, Fantasy Island, $12.4 million. The Photograph, $12.3 million. Downhill, Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which I saw close to 2 weeks ago now, just $4.7 million for the 3-day. Not a huge open for the newly named Searchlight Pictures. It is Foxless now. No Fox in the 20th century or Fox Searchlight. Look at what's going to happen with Call of the Wild this week, the brand new big movie for the week with Harrison Ford. It is from 20th Century Studios. That's what they're calling it now, instead of 20th Century Fox. That's crazy. That's going to be very difficult to get used to the fact that Fox is not a part of either of those studios now, that it is absorbed into Disney. Hey, check this out. Look at that. There it is. Your Best Picture Academy Award winner, Parasite. How about that? I got another one. Look at this. Gorgeous. From Neon. Thank you, Neon, for these during the awards season. It worked out well for you. Very nice. JT the Brick. What up, JT? The best, he says. Thank you so much, JT. Loved receiving those from Neon. That now has its first Best Picture win with Parasite. Can you believe the Oscars was a week ago and 2020 is flying by? We're halfway through February. It is incredible. Yeah, I'm so glad Parasite won. It was such a cool moment. The cool moment, I guess, that triggered the Best Picture win was when Bong Joon-ho won Director, which I did not see coming. Not a lot of people saw it coming. Yeah, wow. Spike Lee got up there and he just read Bong Joon-ho, and it was like, yes, an award season surprise, a shake-up, a stunner, because the 4 actings were pretty much who we thought they were going to be. And so the fact that Bong Joon-ho swiped in over Sam Mendes and took the director prize, really something. And Parasite winning Best Picture, Jane Fonda doing a little bit of a dramatic pause, but an appropriate dramatic pause in giving Parasite that Best Picture Academy Award. I think she can use that now for the rest of her life, especially when she goes to all these climate change protests and she keeps getting arrested. She could say, but officer, I named Parasite the Best Picture of the Year. And they'll be like, all right, you can go. You're good. I think Jane Fonda gets some street cred now for naming Parasite the Best Picture of the Year. And what a weekend Parasite had. You see, the funny thing is, it came out on DVD January 28th, so it was out for a couple weeks before the Academy Awards, so people could rent it, buy it, stream it, whatever, before the Oscars. But now that it won Best Picture, people want to check it out in theaters. Immediately, starting on Monday, it had a huge box office rise, And then Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and then Neon decided we're going to expand it from about 1,000 theaters to 2,000 theaters this weekend. And it did like $5.5 million Friday through Sunday. They're estimating $6.7 million for the 4-day weekend for Parasite. That is fantastic. One of the best rises for a Best Picture winner I can remember in a while. I mean, I know Green Book did, made a lot of money beforehand and some money afterwards, but you look at a movie like Parasite, which only had about $30 million heading into Oscar weekend, and now it's going to be closing in on 45. I mean, it is stunning. It is really something. Congratulations to Neon and to Parasite. People have the option to want to watch this at home, but they want to see the Best Picture winner on the big screen and experience it. That's what I did when I saw it back in October at the Film Columbia Festival in Chatham, New York, at the famous Crandall Theater. I got to experience Parasite on the big screen, knowing almost nothing about it going in. And I could tell the vibe from the audience and the shock value and the drama and the comedy and the darkness of it. It was something I won't forget for quite a long time. Bob Hall says, yes, Sonic is a big hit, and I did call Parasite's big win. Yes, thank you, Bob Hall. But what's interesting is I thought Parasite was going to win because it would be the film with the most number 2 votes over the film with the most number 1s, which I thought was 1917, the strategy that's been working the last couple years of which film has won Best Picture. But when Bong Joon-ho won Best Director, I thought to myself, all right, there's no way they give it to 1917 now. They have to give it to Parasite. But was Parasite really the number 2 movie after all? With all the standing ovations, all the buzz, giving it to Bong Joon-ho for director and screenplay, now I'm not so sure. Now maybe that theory goes out. I mean, next year we'll have to see, but I don't know. Something tells me Parasite may have won with a bunch of number 1 votes anyway. So there you go. But I'm so glad I picked. I got to tell you, with these last 3 years, them changing all the rules, I didn't get the Best Picture right. Last time I got Best Picture right was Spotlight. The next year I picked La La Land. Everybody picked La La Land, but then all that thing happened, so everybody basically got a pass. Then I picked Get Out for the hell of it, because it was one of those wacky years, and I went to Shape of Water. It's a good film, but not a great film. At least it wasn't 3 Billboards. And then last year I picked Roma because I thought Roma was going to do it, but the Green Book win with the number 2 movie made sense after the fact. And the other fact was the Green Book was the most positive, uplifting, happy film out of all the 9 movies. Parasite's not an uplifting, happy movie. I mean, in some respects, yes, in some respects, no. But, yeah, Green Book last year, without question, was. So that also made sense as to why it won Best Picture. So this year I thought, you know what? It seems like it's the number 2 film. And so I went with it. So thank you, Parasite, for being the first Best Picture I got right since Spotlight. Wow. So the Oscars went down 20%. 23.6 million viewers, a new all-time low. The previous low was 26.5 from 2 years ago. They went up last year to 29.6 with Gaga. One word rose the ratings. That is Gaga. All the Gaga fans tuned in. Without question. To see her win, to see her perform with Bradley Cooper, to maybe see her win Best Actress as well, but she won song. Without Gaga, the fact that this was the second year with no host, there was a curiosity factor last year. How would the Oscars go with no host? So some people tuned in just for that. And what did I put up the other day? The average age of an acting nominee was like 51 or something. You know, not a lot of these movies nominated this year for the Oscars skewed young. Look at Joker. I mean, maybe some young people went to Joker, but still, Joaquin Phoenix, he kind of skews a little older. Look at Ford versus Ferrari. Some young people like Matt Damon and Christian Bale, but not that story. Ford v. Ferrari ended up winning 2 Oscars. Good for that film, because it's a great film. I didn't think it was going to win either of its Oscars, but here it came in. Ford v. Ferrari skews older. Even Marriage Story, you know, about divorce. Young people don't want to watch that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The glitz, the glamour, the ritziness of old-time Hollywood. 1917, that doesn't skew young. No. And neither does Parasite, though Parasite skewed the youngest probably out of all of them because of the interest of the younger 20-somethings, 30-somethings couples interested in just this experience of it. Judy didn't skew young. No. That's why I thought Renee Zellweger wasn't necessarily a lock to win. I thought maybe Scarlett Johansson could come in for either of the films, Jojo Rabbit or Marriage Story. Jojo Rabbit, another film, doesn't, even though it's about kids, it's about World War II. Young people don't usually want to see World War II films. So you're not going to tune in The Mr. Rogers movie. You know, you're not going to tune in to see films that you don't feel like you were a part of experiencing. You're not. So that's why the Oscars went down 20%. No host, no Gaga. Award season was scrunched. Every Sunday was a different award show. You knew the ratings were going to be down because people are getting sick and tired of award shows. They don't care that it's the Oscars. And the films and the actors nominated didn't skew young. You know, Little Women, even Little Women. Probably some younger women have gone to Little Women. But again, the story's like 150 years old. Young people aren't reading Little Women. Will it ever change? I don't know. Will the Oscars ever get to the point where they do skew young? But here's the thing. The Oscars tried to skew young with the 20 presenters that came in who presented other people presenting. What a disaster that ended up being. How about Zazie Beetz basically forgetting Ricky Minor's name? You got to have hosts who know what they're doing, who know how to handle certain situations. All right? Look at Billy Crystal coming on Kimmel the other night. Billy Crystal went on Kimmel and he said, I hope they have somebody there who knows what to do in case something goes wrong. Who knows what to do. They didn't have anybody. Who would have come out on stage if they had announced the wrong winner? If somebody had fallen, if a set piece had come down, if if Idina Menzel got her name mispronounced again, who would have gone on stage and tried to save the day? Not one of these 20 young people they got to try to make it feel young and fresh. No. Who would have done it? I don't know. You got to have a host. You got to have somebody like that. Diane Keaton came out on stage. She was probably drunk with Keanu. It was a hilarious moment, but imagine if things had gone too far. Keanu Reeves would have tried to save the day, and he'd probably be a Twitter hero. But just, the live TV factor and the so-called prestige of it, and you don't have a backup plan? What's your backup plan? You got to have somebody ready. Steve Martin and Chris Rock came out. They did their monologue. It was okay. It was a little better second time around if you watched it back online, but it was still kind of awkward and felt like Steve Martin didn't do the rehearsal at all. Maybe he didn't. It seemed like Chris Rock did. Maybe Steve Martin just said, I've done this. I'm just coming in. And it showed. Yeah, so anyway, here we are a week after the Oscars, and now they have a little more than a year to prepare for the next one because the 2021 Academy Awards aren't going to be until the end of February. Again, they're going back to normal. Also, why they thought they could boost the ratings was to make it earlier, but that didn't work. It didn't. So now we have a little more than a year until the next Academy Awards. And now I'm reading sites already are predicting who's going to win next year and all the nominees of all the shows. Let's take a break. Let's take a break from the awards season. It's time to shine a spotlight on the rest of the winter films, the spring films, get into the summer movie season, and if we get one or two in the summer that are starting to perk up awards, not just animated film, but even the performances, then maybe we'll take notice. It was interesting, I did put out on Twitter the other day that I had seen all 4 of the Oscars acting winning performances for this year by October 6th, which was a new record for me by a lot. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt came out in July. We had Renee Zellweger, Judy, came out at the end of September. Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, came out a week later at the beginning of October. And Marriage Story, Laura Dern, I saw on October 6th. Still, it was in theaters for people to see on November 6th. That's pretty early. So after November 6th, you just had a bunch of movies, but none of them featured Oscar-winning acting performances this year. None that came out in limited on Christmas Day, like If Beale Street Could Talk last year with Regina King. None saved to the end as far as the acting performances are concerned. They were all pretty early in the year. Brad Pitt especially, end of July to get your Best Supporting Actor winner. That's pretty rare these days. That's pretty unique. So we'll see what happens, but let's shine a spotlight now on these spring and rest of winter movies like Call of the Wild this week with Harrison Ford. And then we've got Invisible Man. We've got Pixar's Onward on the way, along with Ben Affleck in The Way Back. We've got A Quiet Place Part 2, Mulan. Trolls is back. James Bond, No Time to Die, which could be one of the best films of the year. My fingers are crossed. And then we get into the summer movie season. It's not that far away. It really isn't. But let's take a break from the awards, all the nominees, all those performances. Let's take a break and let's shine a spotlight. Let's take a look at these big, big winter, spring, and summer movies. And pretty soon it'll also be time for the new TV season lineups to come out, what shows are getting renewed, what shows are getting canceled, things like that. So that's what we're going to be doing here every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern on LCJ Live. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always, every week. New episode of the LCJ Q&A podcast probably coming at you this week. I'll let you know later in the week who that is with. We're getting close to the 150th episode of the LCJ Q&A. I'm so proud of that. I'll let you know who will be on that episode as well. Reviews this week of Call of the Wild. Also on the Too Fast, Two Films podcast this coming week, a film called Greed, which I actually watched last night with Steve Coogan. I'll give you my take on that along with my co-host Mike Sargent. So that'll be this week. New blog piece will be up by tomorrow on the website, lights-camera-jackson.com. And yes, the Back to You podcast has been tweeting out some new things lately. The 1-year anniversary celebration of the Back to You podcast, Friday, April 3rd. That is the 1-year anniversary of when the Back to You podcast started, so maybe there'll be a few things for that. So look out for that, Friday, April 3rd. Next week, we'll talk about Call of the Wild box office, see how Sonic does in week 2. A lot of kids are off for school for President's Week, so we'll see how Sonic does. It'll probably get to 100 million by the end of the regular week. Probably, if they can try to get to 100 million, well, that counts Monday. They'll probably get to 100 million by Saturday, I would say, for Sonic the Hedgehog. So we'll see how it does week 2, talk about Call of the Wild, preview some more movies like Wendy, Burden, and Invisible Man. And we'll do all that here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. As always, follow me on Twitter at LCJ Reviews and Instagram at LightsCamJackson, and visit the website. That is lights-camera-jackson.com. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thank you for such a fun, scrunched, exciting award season. Thank you for watching LCJ Live. I'll see you live next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.